We're back today. We're going to have a shorter show, but we still have 4 rounds in the magazine. Round number 1, a Marine decided that he was tired of being just an enlisted dude on the ground. So he took a skyhawk on a 45-minute joyride and did a few Top Gun maneuvers as well. By the way, this story ends with a plot twist that would make M. Night Shyamalan absolutely come his britches. Round number 2, our friends in Canada have updated their grooming standards. If these same regulations here, Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Yarbrough would never be able to sleep because he would be fighting trolls in the comment section all day and all night. Round number 3, a group of Russian officers have been caught selling the location of their own troops, which resulted in those same very troops getting shelled by Ukrainian artillery. Yikes.
Benedict Arnolds, aren't they?
Exactly right. They are Benedict. I don't know if that would qualify. Yeah, they'd be.
Yeah, that would qualify.
Yeah,
I don't exactly know who he was, but it sounds right.
You don't?
No, I like that. Anytime that you can throw in a Benedict Arnold reference, you absolutely have to do it.
Thank
you.
And
last week we were supposed to do a little segment where we're going to decide which branch of service Kate was going to go into. We forgot. We completely forgot to do round 5, but the show was already like an hour and a half, so shut the fuck up about it. But today we're going to be back with ZBT Trivia. We won't forget this time. And all of that is going to be brought to you by our good friends at WhistlePig.
Whoa, vacation chaps.
It's still vacation. It's
8 a.m. there.
It's 8:10 here. So I go upstairs and I was like, I got to get a WhistlePig for this ad read. And she was like, it's 8 o'clock, dude. And actually I went up there like 7:40. She's like, it's 7:45 in the morning. Like, it's vacation time. Like, if I would have went to the Bahamas, nobody would say boo about me having.
If you were at an airport right now, no one would look twice at you. So you know what? We're going to normalize that on podcasts.
Cons, that's an excellent point. And I think I'm going to start having airport rules in my my office down here. And yesterday, so my house is set up on a big hill, and there's like there's 3 stories of my house. My house is not a 3-story house. It's not that big, but it's 3 stories. My office is the very bottom one. And it's almost like if you're going down those steps, if you see my Instagram down the steps, my office is right there. My wife never comes in here. Never. I mean, since I've lived here about a year and 3 months or so, she's probably been in my office maybe 2 or 3 times. And usually it's just a sticker head in the door. It's like, hey, dinner's ready. Hey, can you go get the dogs? Just something quick. She walked in yesterday. Like, she just straight up walked in the office and stood down here by my computer. I was nervous about what would happen. You know, like, it felt like a brigadier general showing up to your workstation when you're not prepared. Like, I had cups down here from coffee. I had all kinds of shit. Like, am I going to get in trouble? Do I have to do a field day now? Because she was in here. But immediately when she left, I started cleaning up because I felt guilty. I was like, my office looks like
Did she say anything?
No.
She was in there?
And there was nothing important. She was just like, I was just seeing what you're doing if you wanted a smoothie. And I was like, I would love a smoothie.
Yeah. Just please get out of the basement.
I felt nervous about it. I don't know why. There's just certain things that happen, I guess. Oh, WhistlePig. WhistlePig is fantastic. You get you a WhistlePig. I like this one. I have decided. I was back and forth between the citrus session one and this one, the blackberry lemon fizz. I think this is that's the one.
Blackberry lemon fizz all the way, 100%. And I was actually drinking the piggyback at work right before the break started. I was doing an ad read video for their the snout pourer that you can put on the top of the thing. And Tico of Texas was like, oh, let me try that. So I gave her some, and then other people walking by were like, well, let me have some. And then we all ended up having like a little WhistlePig piggyback happy hour. Everyone agreed it's delicious. It's a delight.
That's the way you got to do it. I even have a sign in my pool house, which is awesome. It's a little WhistlePig pool house, which I like. Go get some at whistlepig.com, or you could just go to your local store, pick some up, get the whiskey too. Everything that they make is absolutely fantastic. How was your July 4th? Cons, we'll start with you, my friend.
Mine was excellent in every way imaginable. I was down the shore. I played 3 rounds of golf. I had a full day at the pool. We had a day where we bounced around from the beach to somebody else's house to local. Yes, I saw Kate that on Sunday at someone's house. And then from there, we went to one of our local haunts and had ourselves a time, and then brought it back to the house. But overall, it was excellent. And one of the things that I think made it excellent was, and this, I realized that on Monday, this wasn't really on purpose or anything. It was just because I was doing so much and having such a good time at every point throughout the day. I largely stayed off social media, and that was just delightful. It was simply amazing to just turn it off and not pay attention to people, screaming about this, that, and the other thing. And it really made me think about one point though, too. And I think this is important for me, at least, on 4th of July. I saw, on Monday, so many memes and things of that nature that were negative. And I do think that there is so much going on in this country right now that we do need to work on it and get better at. But I don't think that means we have to just then ignore all the good things about it too. Like all those things that I got to do and what a great weekend I had, like that's still worth celebrating as well. So I just think that's important to keep in mind, that even though we are going through, and we'll always go through times where we need to get better, that we could still celebrate all the good things about this country, because we're not devoid of great things in this country. So that was my weekend.
Well, I got to go to a concert on, I guess, I wasn't 4th of July, but it was like the night before or whatever. I was down in Asbury Park and Flogging Molly. When I was in, I have a Celtic Tramp stamp. Okay.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
One of their songs used to be my MySpace song, If I Ever Leave This World Alive. I used to love like Dropkick Murphys, Flogging Molly. They would come through San Diego and me and my Marine buddies would go see these bands, like whatever. And they were in town, and the opener for them. That
music always just sounds like noise to me.
No,
honestly.
it's just noisy. No. And it's kind of got this like punk ska vibe. They had this great, remember ska music, guys?
Oh yeah.
And the dancing floor is called
ska was
Skanking.
Huge when I was growing up. Yeah.
The opener for them was this ska band called the Interrupters with this, the lead singer's woman, and all the songs were just super positive. It was like, if you're smiling, have a good time. You are special. And I was like, that's me. I'm special. All right. I was having some drinks. Pat was at home with the baby. I cried. And then I go up to the bar. It was at the Stone Pony, the famous Stone Pony, where Bruce Springsteen got to start.
Was that your first time there?
Yeah. So it was my first time there. So it was where Bruce Springsteen got his start, down the Jersey Shore kind of thing. Anyway, the vibes are just super, super good. And I go up to the bar and there's this guy who's like, you look familiar. Where do you, and I was like, oh, I work at Barstool. He's like, yes, Kate, blah, blah, blah. He started telling me he joined the infantry, Army infantry at age 36.
Wow.
Said he's one of the oldest guys to get a waiver to join whatever. And then he starts talking about, and by the way, we did that episode talking about how poorly they were treated. The Guard was treated down on January 6th, whatever. Mm-hmm. But he didn't get to that part first. He was like, yeah, so I was down in the Capitol on January 6th. And my head right away, I was like, oh God, which side was he on? Was he like,
because you really never know at a dive bar, especially.
Yeah.
Well, the crowd too. He was like the loveliest guy. He was like, no. He was like, I was with the Guard there. We got sent there. And he's like, you gotta
lead with that. Just
I know.
If you're listening and you're a Guard member and you say that you're at January 6th, you got to say as security.
Which side? Yeah, as security. Okay.
Talk about burying the lead.
Right.
But he was like, you guys were talking about how terribly we were treated, blah, blah. He's like, actually, my group was treated like gold. Just strangers were bringing us pizzas. Everybody was super nice, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right. I said, come on the show. Tell us what it's like to be an old timer in the infantry, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, he was lovely. He gave me Jello shots. So shout out to him. Just a delight. So yeah, that was me. I got to go out to a concert. And then halfway through the concert, all the fireworks started going off. And it was just, I was living my best life. I was having a good old school Katie. I smoked 2 cigarettes. Anyway, how was your weekend?
It was good. Annalise went to Denver with one of her buddies. She was gone the whole weekend, so it was just me and McCartney here, hanging out and just chilling. It was awesome. Like we have been
watched the Mighty Ducks for the first time.
We went through Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
We beat the new Ninja Turtle game together. Like it's a side scroller, old school type of game, almost like Contra, where you're going just left to right. You can't go anywhere else, which I love. And then yesterday, Cardi was like, Dad, I really want you to try to play Fortnite with me. I think that we would have fun doing it together. I was like, I'm not going to play Fortnite just individually, but if you can figure out a way where we play on the same screen, I'll do it. And we can be next to each other. So McCartney has played Fortnite for essentially like 2.5, 3 years now, and plays it a lot and is actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. Well, we were playing yesterday, and I have never heard this kid laugh this much. Like when I just sucked at the game.
Fucking up.
Yeah, like I'm running around with a pitch axe, just like swinging it all over the place. And McCartney's like, what are you doing? And I finally found somebody, and I'm like trying to hit him with this pickaxe that apparently you're only supposed to open like boxes with and mine like the mountains and shit. Like, no, you got to go find a gun. I was like, find a gun? Where am I going to find a gun? And they're like, you got to look at all these buildings. And they were cracking up so much. And I thought, because you never really think of yourself as your parents, like your parents are always just so different to you.
Yeah.
But when I was sitting on the couch and I was thinking about what it would be like if my dad did that with me and how much I would have loved it, and he never did it. And I just think how stupid that is. Like how I don't understand parents who don't want to spend time with their kids. It makes no sense. It brings me so much joy to do that, especially as McCartney gets older.
Would you guys say that there's more opportunities and more ways to spend time with your kids? Like, I feel like there was no way my dad was going to sit down and play video games with me because he didn't grow up with video games. So that was so foreign to him.
No, but my dad would always play basketball with me in our driveway.
Oh, yeah.
He always took the time to do like yard games and basketball and like, he was.
That's true.
And you do remember that stuff. Like he would spend
time.
hours out there with me. Just
and you also remember the no's too. Like when you ask your parents and they're like, no. The
biggest was I saw it a lot down the shore this weekend. The water is like super rough, and the parents, you could tell maybe a little hungover, and the kids want to go in the water, and the parents are like, dude. Fuck no, dude.
Vacation mornings are the worst.
Yeah. Like, please, for the love of God, quit asking me to go in the ocean.
10:30, 11 o'clock to roll around, so you kind of have the fog gone a little bit.
Oh no, but kids are up so early, and you got to get to the beach by like 8:30.
Yeah, but those rare times where they do take you in the ocean as a kid, and they're awesome. They're getting you on the good waves of the tube. Yeah,
dude, Anna Weiss told me her dad never swam with her ever, and her whole child and. That might make sense living somewhere where there's not in Florida. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You didn't ever swim in
swim
Pensacola
most of the year. Right.
Like,
right.
I legitimately think the waters of Pensacola Beach and Destin are the prettiest in the 48 of anywhere. Like Key West, awesome. I don't think even the water itself is just gorgeous. How do you not fucking go swimming there as a family? How do you not do it?
Dude, my dad would take me in the ocean, and I can kind of remember sometimes being scared because he'd be like, "Don't worry, you're fine. The ocean's not going to take you." And knowing full well now, he probably kept an eye on me, but I remember thinking like the waves were so
dads. Big. I bet your dad was probably like, maybe we are out a little far. Like knowing dads, I feel like they do take it a little far to like.
Well, like that. Yeah, it's that time I almost
especially
Big Al.
In Hawaii. Big Al probably went.
I told you how I almost died in Hawaii. I went out way too far.
Yeah.
Was trying to come back and I had the riptide. I had to go against it and like go again. And then I had to go way down the fucking beach to get out. It was scary.
Yeah. You don't want to dad too hard.
But how was it watching those movies? I always enjoy watching movies, and I hope, hopefully I have children one day and I get to do this because I'm very much looking forward to watching all the movies that I loved growing up, because it's almost like when you're watching them with your kid, you're seeing them again for the first time, even though you've seen them 40 times.
And you realize how unbelievably ridiculous they are. Like these movies are just, Mighty Ducks 2. Mighty Ducks 2 might be the most unrealistic movie of all time. You're telling me that the U.S. national team for hockey, for the entire country, is some poor kids that just happen to swing together one, and then they go out to the mall and find another kid who does a knuckle puck, and now that kid happens to be on the team.
I had the biggest crush on him when I was growing up.
The knuckle puck kid?
Yes. Oh my God. A dirt ball with a mullet.
Keenan Thompson.
That was Keenan Thompson. It was the black kid, not the kid with the mullet.
Oh,
you're thinking of somebody else. But let's go back to the first one.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I also had a crush on Keenan Thompson.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, I'm more of a Cal
go back
guy.
to the first one though, chaps. Like, hey, you got a DUI. Why don't you coach youth hockey?
And then once he's done and they win the championship, he's acting like he's destitute and has to sharpen skates for a living. You're still a fucking lawyer.
You're still barred in the country.
It was like, oh, we won it. Now I got in an argument with my boss, and now I got to fucking sharpen these skates for the rest of my life.
There's no other law firms out there that'll take me.
Obviously, when I first watched Mighty Ducks, I had never seen The West Wing. It is remarkable how much Emilio Estevez looks like Martin Sheen.
Oh,
remarkable.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so much more than Charlie.
Crazy.
And I also saw this interview where Martin Sheen was talking about how he regretted being Martin Sheen, how he still risked his name was Ramon Estevez. And whenever he was talking about his son, he was like, well, Charlie took my stage name and he did that. And I wanted Emilio to do it too. We tried to have Emilio to do it. And Emilio was like, no, I'm not ashamed of my name. I'm not changing it. Yeah. And he was like, it made me so proud of him. Like looking back, I wish I would have had that courage where I could have done the same thing. And but when he would look certain ways, you know, like there's certain things that when McCartney looks at me a certain way, or when Kelsey looks at me a certain way, I see my face in them. Like where
both of them. Yeah.
Like you look at your kid and like, damn, they look so much like me. When Emilio Estevez would look, I'd be like, God dang, dude, that looks like Martin Sheen. He's about to give you the best speech ever in 2 cathedrals. It's going to be incredible. Let's get going with the actual story. Enough Mighty Ducks. Round number 1. I can't believe I haven't seen this story before, but the ending of this story, I don't think a Marine taking a fighter jet and taking it up for a joyride for 45 minutes is necessarily the most insane thing of all time. But the way that this story ends is just absolutely ridiculous. Kate, walk us through what happened here in round 1.
Okay, round number 1. How much could a Marine Corps fighter cost? That was probably one of the questions running through 21-year-old Lance Corporal Howard Foote's mind as the enlisted flight mechanic climbed into an unarmed A4M Skyhawk in the middle of a July night. In case you were wondering, the cost is roughly $18 million. Rather, that was the cost back in '84 when Foote stole one of them from the Marine Corps Air Station El Toro. Today, that would be the equivalent of $41 million, by the way.
And this article was actually written in 2001, so that's probably like $212 million now.
Sentries tried to stop Foote as he taxied the aircraft for takeoff, but they just couldn't get his attention. Or he was just blatantly ignoring you because he was stealing a
fighter jet. When I read this article, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this guy doesn't know people are coming to look for him. Like, he knows.
He's aware. I think he's aware. Foote joined the
jets
Marines.
Aren't exactly quiet.
Right.
Yeah, Foote joined the Marines to go to the Corps' enlisted commissioning program, hoping to attend flight school. Lieutenant Tim Hoyle, an El Toro public affairs officer, told the LA Times. However, while flying at 42,500 feet in a glider, he suffered an aerial embolism similar to the bends suffered by divers.
So that's really high. 42,000 feet is even on international flights, they usually hover at around 33,000 feet. 45,000 feet is insanely high, or 42,000 feet.
Yeah. And if you don't know, the bends is like completely crippling. Like it will fuck you up forever. The bends
You're not
is
talking about Mercedes, folks.
No, that's true. The bends is the diver's term for decompression sickness, where the gases in the body, like nitrogen in the compressed oxygen tanks used by divers, comes out of the blood in bubbles because they don't have time to adjust to the pressure around it. So your blood almost basically starts like boiling in your body, kind of. And the bubbles you can survive it. It's deadly, but you can survive it, but it will leave you like handicapped the rest of your life and in pain. An interesting side note, when they were building the Brooklyn Bridge, they had to dig way, 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 way down. And those big stone things that you see went way, 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 way down deep. And one of the first times that the bends was like truly documented was guys coming out of those pressurized, like fucking stone towers at the end of the day. And they would come out and all of a sudden they would just be like fucked. And people were like, what the fuck is happening?
And when you don't know what that is, that's got to be so insanely scary.
Very scary.
And even Roebling, the guy who designed the bridge and was like in charge of the bridge, it happened to him too. And he survived, but he was fucked up. And his wife basically had to like run shit for the rest of the time on that bridge. Anyway, that's Katie, New York City facts for you. Anyways, flight school was not going to happen. Foote became a mechanic instead. Still, he had to realize his dream of going up in the helm of a fighter. I had worked my entire life for this flight, Foote told the LA Times 4 years later. There was nothing else. I, for one, am shocked he survived.
You worked your whole life to steal a plane from the Marine Corps and fly it for 45 minutes?
Also,
everybody has different dreams.
True.
When I heard that he had the embolism up in the air, I was like, oh, so he's dead. The young Marine drove up to the plane in a vehicle used to take pilots to their aircraft. He even wore a flight suit to dress the part. Smart. He flew the fighter for 50 miles, roughly half an hour, doing loops and barrel rolls over the Pacific Ocean.
That's got to be so much fun.
I was going to say, imagine the smile on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He then landed it after making 5 passes of the runway. No one tracked the plane. They didn't send any fighters to intercept it. Foote brought it back down on his own. That's integrity.
That's also impressive.
It is.
Also, This has to be a real embarrassing moment for the pilots who everyone thought were super advanced and cool.
Yeah, right.
Well,
This guy's
Lance
never done
Corporal
it
can
before.
hop up there and fly these sticks on this thing. Are you kidding me? Foote was sent to the stockade at Camp Pendleton. He served 4.5 months of confinement and was served an other than honorable discharge.
I mean,
That's
honestly,
it. I wish
4.5 months ain't bad.
I wish I had stolen a fucking plane.
4.5 months ain't bad. Like, it's really not. And other than honorable discharge, you can get that bumped up after 6 months.
Yeah. He tried to fly for Israel and Honduras after his discharge, but later qualified as a test pilot in more than 20 different military and civilian aircraft and became a contractor to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab. He holds patents in aviation design and engineering technology.
That's crazy.
I'll be honest. I wish we had all stolen it. This is the best possible outcome for stealing a plane ever. What?
How in the world do you steal a plane and end up being a test pilot? I guess they're just like, this dude's got fucking balls of steel. Like, if you're willing to go up and do aerials without being formally trained on how to fly, and then to go into NASA, and he has I read about some of the different technology that he has patents over. Some of the aviators have said that some of his patents that he helped design are some of the most important in modern aviation, like the way that he did things. It's unbelievable that a Lance Corporal stole a plane and then did great things afterwards. You would have thought this would bar you from ever stepping foot in a plane, right? Like, it's one of those things where you're like, no way are you ever going to be able to fly again. Like that dude who just went super viral for flying over the Grand Canyon and his pilot. Did you see this? There's a dude he was a pilot, had a small aircraft, and he took it out over the Grand Canyon area. And whenever he was there, he had GoPros and shit like that on the wings. And he decided to jump out, like acted like the engine shut down and jumped out of the plane. And the plane just crashed into the Grand Canyon area. Well, the FAA charged him, obviously got a felony. But one of the stipulations, you can never sit in the cockpit of a plane ever again. You would think that's what would happen here, but he's a test pilot.
But that's a little different because the guy got out of the plane and God forbid there was somebody walking around the Grand Canyon or you don't know where that plane's
this guy stole a fighter jet, Cons. I mean, it's still pretty bad.
Do you guys remember in 2018?
That's the difference.
2018, that guy, Richard Russell, he was like one of the ground crew guys, but he did all those flight simulators that we were talking about a few episodes ago. Remember, he stole the civilian aircraft, like the 77-seater.
And that was like a C-130 size plane. Like, that was a huge plane.
He was in a huge ass plane and he just flew over the ocean. The audio from that is remarkable. I mean, it's a really sad story. But he was like, I see a mom whale and a baby whale out here. Wow, it's beautiful. And then nobody thought this plane was capable of a full loop roll, but he's like, I'm going to just go for it. And he did it. And, sadder end to that story, but like he never flew before. He just did the simulators and he like figured it out. So
I want to talk to this guy. So if anybody knows him, if anybody knows this guy, please get us in touch. But also I have a question.
He died in 1996.
Did he really?
No,
damn.
I made that up. He's mine.
Okay. Do you guys know are fighter jets like Humvees? You know how there's no keys to a Humvee? You could just get in, turn it on, and go.
Yeah, I think
so. I mean, because if there's an emergency,
they're just like flick, 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 take off. That's all you got to do.
If there's an emergency and you're needed, like lest we forget that video where Prince Harry jumps up and from the interview and he starts running to the. You can't have.
You can't be like
looking for your keys.
Everybody else starts running after him, trying to get his cock in his mouth, or like put it in my mouth, please.
Yeah. Whoa.
Anyways, did you see the picture of him looking like an absolute Top Gun, standing there just being a badass? I
certainly
love that
looks
story.
the part.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking awesome. I can't believe I never heard that story. That's
I know,
super
right?
Fucking awesome.
They keep it away from you from the Marines because you'd have so many people trying to jump the gate to steal their own. 4.5 months, that's nothing. I mean,
I feel like that's the moral of this story is that if you want to succeed, go steal a fighter jet.
I bet if you went to the
4.5 months, but the fact that on the back end he went to NASA.
Yeah. If you went to the barracks at Camp Pendleton and you went through and you're like, hey, you guys can go up for 45 minutes and fly this fighter jet, but when you get back, you got to go to the brig for 4.5 months. I bet 75% of Marines sign up for that.
I would say 85.
Yeah. But think about this. Think about this. You get sent to the brig. What do? 1, you save money. 2, if you want to, you can get in really good shape because you're not going to be able to drink any alcohol. You're going to be eating not great food. There's no pizza in the brig probably. And number 3, you have no distractions. So maybe you could read a lot of books and get very smart. It's not all that bad, I think.
Well, while I used to do sweeps in the brig, we used to use that for training the dogs. Those things suck, man. Like a lot of the brigs are fucking.
Yeah.
There was one in Okinawa where they still did manual punishment. In 2004, they still did.
What's manual punishment?
Turn rocks into little rocks, like big rocks into little rocks.
I thought you were talking about spanking.
They would have huge sledgehammers where you're just out there fucking hitting rocks and shit.
But Marines love that though.
Yeah, I'm going to bright side this for you. That's probably a great workout. Just slamming a sledgehammer all day. That's a great workout. That just goes to my point.
Now when you're not getting enough protein.
True.
I don't know.
All right, let's move on to round number 2. This one comes from our friends from Canada. What do we got here, Kate?
Members of Canada's military will soon be soldiering under much less strict dress rules, as the Canadian Armed Forces introduces updated regulations on personal grooming. Under the new rules, which were released Tuesday and go into effect in September, they will allow their military personnel to color their hair and grow it to any length and sport face tattoos. The bottom line is the Canadian Forces dress instructions are about 50 years old, and so the policy as a whole is overdue for revision.
All right, let's stop there. First up, do you think we should do this? Would you be okay with dyed hair? We'll go all three of us. Dyed hair. Cons, we'll start with you. Like, so let's say not just like blonde, but like purple, pink, blue, whatever, in uniform.
I'd say as long as it's in regs. I don't really think it matters what color it is.
All right. What about facial hair?
So facial hair is so difficult because it's so hard to regulate, I think, because some people would look like you, like a crappy beard, and other people would look like me, really tight, good, full beard. So it's hard.
And then face tattoos.
No, I don't like that.
Kate, same 3.
Okay, I think it depends on the MOS. Like, you know how we're trying to get more cyber warfare people? Let them do whatever the fuck they want, because the smarter and the weirder, the better, the safer we'll all be in that realm. Bring in the face tattoos. I don't care if there's a dick on your nose. If you are really good at that shit, like, I do not give a fuck. Also, same for the Marine Corps band. Let them do whatever the fuck they want. They need a little street cred. They need a little cool points. And so let them do it. Nobody's going to fuck with the flutist who has a knife on their cheek. You know what I mean? So I think
teardrop tattoo,
but I think it depends on the job. And beards, I do not give a shit. Except if you happen to be in an area where gas is a problem in war.
It's not a thing. That's not real.
Oh, well then fuck it. No,
other militaries have tested out that theory.
Oh yeah, your gas mask still works with yes. Well then it doesn't matter then. I do not care about, as long as you keep it neat. I do not care about facial hair. And honestly, I think it looks good. And if you look at the Nordic military, where their men in camis have the long flowing hair and the man buns?
Gas chamber too, and they wear it with their beards and shit.
Yes, please.
I think beards look awesome. I just think it's too hard to regulate. I think because there's some people who like try to grow facial hair and it just like comes in all like patchy and looks like you just look like you're dirty.
Me, I would go, in order to do this, you have to be a superior PFT. I would say that if you had an initiative, like if you score 285 on your PFT and above, you can dye your hair whatever color, grow it to whatever length. You could have beards, you could have face tattoos, you could do whatever you want to. Because I look at those shows like Vikings and The Last Kingdom, where you have these Vikings that came in with long beards and tattoos, and those motherfuckers look intimidating as shit. You come into work though, and you're a chubby bunny and you have pink hair and face tattoos, then you just look undisciplined. Like the difference between being in shape and aggressive and being out of shape and sloppy is just the way that you perform.
But again, if you're in the cyber realm, more power to you.
But imagine a group of Navy SEALs walk out with pink hair, face tattoos, full ass beards, and they still are wearing all their battle rattle.
Isn't
You'd be
that
like,
cool?
Holy shit.
Yes, I'd be like, that's cool as fuck.
I'll play devil's advocate though. I'll play devil's advocate. I think it would look like shit in their dress uniform though.
Yeah, maybe it would look bad.
Yeah,
I think the dyed hair.
I
don't think the beards would look bad in uniform, but I do think, and I don't think face tattoos. Like if you have intimidating face tattoos, I don't care if you could be Nick's size and you walk in with face tattoos. That was mean. I'm sorry, Nick.
Nick's size is if I'm the only person this size.
I'm sorry, Nick. But you have face tattoos and you're like, man, I might want to tread lightly here. I just think that's the way it goes down.
But also, like, what's a good face tattoo? Like, I think maybe Mike Tyson's works because he's Mike Tyson. But
I think that most people egregious, actually. Like the
Yeah, but he's Mike
like the
Tyson.
Island Boys.
Post
for
Malone. I'm used to
No,
it.
the Island Boys,
You
those
get
guys
used
look
to them
stupid.
after a while.
I think they look stupid.
Yeah, but you make the Island Boys 6'2", they're 220 pounds, and they got those same tattoos. You're like,
Who's
I'm
that
not going to trifle
rapper?
with those guys.
With the little ice cream cone with the lightning bolts.
Oh, Gucci Man.
Gucci Man. Yeah. Okay. Huh. Anyway,
right, let's keep going through the story. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is that so they have catalogs of uniforms for men and then for women. And now they're like, whatever fits you best. Ladies, if you prefer to wear the male, whatever, go to town. Like, we don't care anymore. So mix and match whatever works best for you, whatever fits best for you.
I actually like that. And I think that so many, you would have done it with Dress Blues, right?
Dude, and I felt like it was on purpose that the women's Dress Blues were so shitty and the men's were so awesome. I felt like it was fucking on purpose. I was like, why? I want to wear what they're wearing. Plus, we didn't get the belt. Like, you guys, women look snatched in a belt that's like a little above the waist, like whatever. I was like, why don't we get that? We look like flight attendants.
And they would on the drill floor, like their Dress Blue deltas. They would wear it out there and it looked awesome.
I always wished that I had the option to wear the men's when it came to that. So, and I think they kind of have switched it to that. I'm not sure anymore, but yeah. So I don't think that's a big deal at all. I think it's one of those things. This is one of those things that there will definitely be a big hubbub online. Well, back in my day, blah, blah, blah. And then a few years go by and people are like, oh, that didn't make a difference in any way.
It's
whatsoever.
like gay marriage when people, even like guys like Mattis were like, it's going to cause the deterioration of our combat readiness. And now like,
he said that about gay marriage.
Oh, what? Yeah. Almost every general on record did. The generals were not for the repealing of Don't Ask, Don't Tell at all.
Then
none of the branches of
matter
service.
in any way.
They all said no, that they didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that time period was.
Now they know.
Yeah. And Obama was like, we don't care. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go Canada.
And that's the great part about being your second term of president. If I was second term president, I'd be doing everything that I wanted to, like anything that I wanted to get done, because you don't have to worry about your political future. That's why Biden should come out and say, I'm not running again, like right now. If Biden came out and said, I'm not running again right now, but we're going to do everything possible, what I think will save democracy, I think people will respect him. But he can hardly speak and barely has any train of thought. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Not great.
You see his speech when he's in fucking Europe? Good.
I'll be honest, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. I have trouble.
Just
chaps.
Like, not put him down, but like Joe, go into the master bedroom and just hang out with Jill. Like, just do that for a couple.
Okay. We'll take care of it. We'll take it from here. We don't need you, Uncle Joe.
We don't need you. You're not doing anything anyways. I mean, I guess that goes to show that there is like, you have delegation. That's important from the president, like being able to delegate.
Good leaders delegate.
All right, let's move on to round number 3. What do we got, Kate?
All right. A couple Benedict Arnolds over here, whatever that was. A Russian colonel was accused of selling information on the whereabouts of his own men to foreign intelligence agencies by concerned Russians, according to Ukrainian authorities. An audio
before we really go into that, just that if you can prove this, I think if you are a Russian, you got to hang this person in a town square. Like, I don't really believe in a lot of public executions anymore. This is different. And I would say the same thing for ours. If one of our high-ranking officers was proven to have done this, I think you hang him in the streets. I think that has to happen.
Oh, dude, I can't think of a worse thing to possibly do in the military. An audio recording of what the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's main intel directorate says is an intercepted phone call appears to suggest the colonel was not the first who was accused of selling out his own troops. The call, released Monday, includes a conversation between a man identified as a Russian soldier and a woman. No details were provided on where the soldier was based in Ukraine, but he can be heard in the recording complaining of constant shelling. The conversation then takes an interesting turn when the unnamed woman notes that the squadron of the 31st Brigade was given up by their own Russian colonel, apparently referring to the 31st Guards Air Assault Brigade. The airborne troops taken captive, the man asks. Yes.
Wait, can you do that one more time, but do it in a Russian accent, please?
The airborne troop taken captive, the man asked.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, that 76 people were taken. She says, adding that they were sold out by their own, naming Colonel Matkovsky for the betrayal. There have already been many such instances, the man responds, noting that they leak information about the troops. It's true. I later spoke with an agent of Russia's Federal Security Service. And he said, yes, it's all true. They found 17 million in his account, she said. The woman went on to say that she hadn't asked for clarification on what currency the money was found in before appearing to suggest the Russian colonel had been paid by American intel agencies. It's understandable. The stinking U.S. is suffering. They have hunger cold, she said. The Ukrainian intelligence did not. What does that mean?
I don't know. Hunger cold. I don't know.
Hunger cold. The Ukrainian intelligence did not say when the phone call was said to have taken place or provide any further intel, but the 31st Guards Air Assault Brigade, one of Russia's most elite airborne units, suffered heavy losses in a Russian offensive outside Kiev in late February and early March. Many Russian troops were captured at the time. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine also said that in early April, members of the brigade refused to fight any further in Ukraine. U.S. intel has not publicly confirmed that any Russian commanders have handed over intel on troop movement, but the CIA did launch a very public campaign in May to solicit info from Russians regarding the war. And seeing that Russians are like, you see the tanks piled high with like, because they're coming from such poor areas in Russia, and the tanks are just piled high with like, they're looting people's homes and taking it back in their tanks. Like, I wouldn't put it past these dickheads to sell out their own troops for money.
Oh, no
Absolutely.
doubt.
Like, not in any way.
I mean, it's such a miserable existence over there that why wouldn't you try to get this money and then maybe try to flee the country somehow? I don't know that would even be possible, but that's probably what they're thinking.
I don't know what you do, man. Like, you don't do that. I know that for sure.
You definitely don't sell your buddies down the river.
Like, your family's fucked too. It's not just you. You do something like that, your family's fucked.
Oh, dude. Forget it. Totally.
Like, if you have kids or something like that and you do that, you're an absolute monster. Like, because they'll never forget it.
Can people leave Russia right now? Like, if I was that guy's family, could I pack up the kids and be like, we're going on vacation, and then just fucking dip?
They don't have, I don't think they have restrictions for their certain countries, obviously, like we do. Like, we even in the US, there's certain countries that you're not allowed to go to with your passport. I would imagine they have the same thing there, but not like a full out embargo on travel.
Okay.
Crazy
Either way,
story.
Crappy place to be. Sorry about it.
Crappy place to be for sure. What a spot not to be crappy is if you have shaved pubes and somebody's trying to get down there and get in there and give that thing a sucking. If you have shaved pubes, you're more likely to get it. Right? I mean, if you're getting a licking or a sticking, either way, my friends, you need to make sure that you don't have any hair down there, because you don't want to get it in your teeth and what have you. If you got a big old bush, my friend, it's time to get rid of that. It's July. We're in those summer months. You don't want to be having swamp ass on your balls or your labias or anything like that. You just want it to be free flowing, a lot of breeze around that area, so it doesn't get all musky and swampy like the fucking East Rutherford swamps. You don't want that. The marshes. So make sure you get the Performance Package 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a skin safe electric trimmer. I didn't think, I'll be honest, I've been doing Manscaped. I think Manscaped was one of me and Cons' first ads, like, on this show. I've been doing it for a long time, and I thought, how much better is their skin safe razor than the other ones?
Oh,
well, I had another one in my drawer. I had two different types. I had like the regular one for your head, and then I had the one, this one, the Lawnmower 4.0. This one was dead, and I wanted to go outside because, as you guys know, I have been shaving my pubes and whatnot behind my pool house in hopes that the squirrels one day will make a nest out of it. And the squirrels are birds, and I kind of like recycling, but just the pubes. And I went in with a different type, like the one for my head. Looked like a scene from Hostel. I was walking back up just absolutely out of blood. You don't need to do that. Go with the Lawnmower 4.0. You're going to have an unbelievable experience. They're going to give you the Crop Reviver ball spray. They're going to give you Performance Brief boxers, a travel bag to hold it all in. And we're not talking about your ball bag, my friends, but you can get all that with 20% off and free shipping plus at manscaped.com. Use the promo code 0 for that. Let's move on to round number 4, which it's a trivia question, but it's designed for my friend Captain Cons, because Cons, I know that you were upset about last time when we had
lost big time. Big simple questions too. I was ashamed, quite frankly.
Let's just show it just in case you didn't see it. Cons had an experience on the last time we did a trivia. Here it is. All right. We know Cons is a smart fella. He doesn't think Washington State is Washington, D.C. He doesn't know it. And people were like, I'm not sure how smart Captain Cons is. And I'm sure you saw it, Cons. I was on Twitter like, don't you fucking dare. How dare you speak ill of Captain Cons? I'll never allow this. You do it again. You're blocked from all of our channels.
Yeah, everybody knows you're the first to come to my defense.
Always. I'm right there.
Always.
So I have a quiz for you. It is from Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
No, these are so hard.
It's going to be, it's for a fifth grader. You went to West Point, one of the most prestigious institutions in the entire
we have
country.
faith in you, Cons.
You both know the stuff you learn in fifth grade, the way you do math and stuff. It's different than when you.
I remember it all.
All right,
I remember it all. I don't know.
No, this is only for you, Cons. Me and Kate are just going to be observers. It's only for you. So, first question, and are you smarter than a fifth grader for Captain Cons? What is the fastest bird on foot? Is it the ostrich, the sparrow, the eagle, the dragon, or a woodpecker?
Ostrich.
Ostrich, first one. Way to go, Captain Cons. Unbelievable job.
All right.
Next up, what planet is the closest to the sun? Is it Venus, Earth, Mercury, Saturn, or Jupiter?
Mercury.
That is correct. Well done, Captain Cons.
My mama told me.
Stop here?
No, we got several more. A heptagon is a shape with how many sides? 4, 6, 7, 8, or 9. A heptagon.
Jesus. Oh,
Heptagon's
I don't know if
tough.
Heptagon is tough. That's not a shape that you
do
think
some
about
Latin root words.
Yeah, haven't taken Latin since I was 14. I'm gonna say 9.
That is incorrect.
It's 7. Am I right?
Yeah, the correct answer is 7.
Right.
Well done, Kate. How long is a regular term for a U.S. representative? 3 years, 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, or 6 years?
2 years.
2 years. Excellent work, Cons. Excellent work. Which of the following states is not on the Gulf of Mexico?
I'm going to tell you, it's not Washington, D.C.
It's not Washington, D.C.
True.
That's correct.
Which is not
Louisiana,
a state.
Alabama, Florida, Texas, or Georgia?
It's Georgia.
Georgia. That is correct. Well done, Cons. What is the lowest prime number listed? Is it 0, 1, 2, 3, or 5?
I don't remember what the hell the definition of a prime number is. I'm just going to say that straight out. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Even Katie Numbers knows.
Go ahead, Kate. What is it?
1.
That is incorrect.
No, what is it?
It's 2. The lowest prime number is 2.
What?
I honestly, hand up. I don't remember like what constitutes a prime number.
Yeah, I don't know why 1's not either, Kate. I honestly don't know either. None of us are smarter than a fifth grader on that one. What is the largest South American country by area? Is it Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Mexico, or Peru?
Oh, by area. Oh, man.
By area.
3, 2.
Say it again. Say the first
1.
Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Mexico, or Peru?
Why do I feel like this is a trick question? I know Brazil's up top and it's really big, but I'm going to say Chile.
That would be incorrect. You should have gone with your instincts. It was Brazil.
Yeah,
Brazil.
Country.
I overthought that one.
Which of the following states is not part of the 4 corners in the U.S.? Is that New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, or Arizona? And also, we're in Nevada, not a Nevada podcast, right?
Nevada.
Yeah. And it is Nevada. That's what I'm saying.
Nevada. That is correct. Good job, Cons. So right now, just to give you a little bit of an update, Cons has missed. We've only missed one. Just
no,
one?
2.
Or 2.
No, because I wavered on that.
Heptagon, and we missed
Brazil.
Prime number. You got Brazil right. And you got that one right. All right. Who was the first person to step on the moon? Was it longtime stoolie Buzz Aldrin? Was it Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, who was a United States Marine, Sally Ride, or Alan Shepard?
Right, Sally Ride. It was not, but it was Neil Armstrong.
That is correct. Neil Armstrong. Well done. Here we go. Carefully is an example of what type of word? adjective, noun, verb, adverb, or pronoun?
Adverb.
Adverb. Well done, Cons. Nice. In the northern hemisphere, what month is autumn? What month does autumn begin? Is that August, September, October, November, or April?
Wow. I'm gonna say shoot.
August, September, October, November, or April?
It's September or October.
3, 2, 1.
October.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is September. Yes.
Damn it! Why didn't I was thinking September 22nd as a date in my head. I feel like that's like when it starts, maybe.
Here's a math question.
Oh no!
Emma has 2 yardsticks. She also has a 12-inch ruler. She laid them end to end in a line. How many feet is the line?
Okay, so 2 yardsticks would be 6 feet plus a 12-inch ruler. 7 feet. So, and how many inches you said?
Or no, how many feet?
Oh, 7 feet.
Nice work. That is correct. Inca civilizations were concentrated on what continent? South America?
South
Africa?
America.
South America?
Wait, no. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you already said final answer, and I clicked it.
True.
So. What state is the Grand Canyon in? California? Arizona. Well done, Cons. Nice work. We didn't even get there. And the last question of the United States. Who was the 17th president of the United States?
I have no idea. Well, no. So it was whoever came in after
idea.
Lincoln. So who was his vice president? What are my options here?
I'm just kidding. And the question's actually who's the first president of the United States?
Oh,
John
okay.
Adams, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, George W., or John Jay?
George W.
And for bonus points, who is John Jay?
Oh, he was the first. Oh shit.
He's got a criminal academy in New York City. Yeah.
First attorney general.
Mm-mm.
What?
First DA.
Come on, you guys can get it.
I have no idea.
He's the first Chief Justice of the United States.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, let's move on to some saved rounds and alibis. Nicholas, we'll start with you. Oh, you want a full? I guess we got to get the full score, right?
Yeah, what did I get?
So you got an 80. 80 out of 100.
All right.
B.
Low B.
Nick, what do you got?
Save round. I just got a question for all of you. I don't know why I was just thinking about it this morning. What's everyone here? Now, I know the audience will know some of them, but I wanted to know about what is each of your guilty pleasures that you haven't disclosed to your audience yet. I was just thinking about this question.
I can eat an entire bag of chocolate chips in one sitting. Like I'll keep eating them until I feel like I'm gonna have diarrhea, and then
that is one you've had for a while.
Still keep eating them. Okay.
I feel like we're all pretty open. I don't know that there's anything I haven't shared.
I don't know.
That's why I was curious.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that I really hide from I basically talk about everything I do and my entire family's life. So I don't really have a lot that
I eat food out of a can a lot.
Yeah, you do.
And it's not a joke.
No.
You do that.
Maybe, I don't know if I've said that, like Dirty Dancing's in my top 10 for favorite movies of all time.
Oh, you're a big emo movie guy.
I'm not surprised.
That's not a hidden thing. Yeah, I don't know.
This came up at the Bono 4th of July.
All right, I'll give you one.
What was yours then, Nick?
Mine was that I'm like addicted to Sweet and Low. Like not
really?
Yeah. So
like the little pink packets?
Yeah, like the old person, like go to the diner. I was just, I don't know, I was getting coffee for everyone over the weekend. And then I was just like looking at it, and my brother was like, why? Like you've had like 5 of them within the last like hour. And I'm like, you're right. It's bad. I have. And so I don't know. I just thought about it while I was
like coffees with Sweet and Low, or you just eat the packet?
No, like I'll put it in coffee, but I'll also put it like in my oatmeal. I use it like in so many different, and by the time at the end of the day,
you use it like Frank the Tank does accent.
Yeah. Like I've had 7 or 8 in a day, and that's like not good, but it's just like, I don't know. I just add it to everything.
I still bite my fingernails off.
Oh, mine are terrible.
And love picking at my toenails.
I like picking at my toenails too. My wife hates
So
it.
do
She's
I.
like, you're not a little monkey. And I'm like, yes, I am.
Yeah, I do that too. Actually, no, I did think of one. When I'm on a road trip and I'm in some obscure state and we're just stopping to get gas or something, if
litter.
I'm really hungry. No, I don't litter.
Oh.
I love those like rest stop sandwiches that are in the package that are cut into triangles.
Oh yeah, man. Because you're taking a risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something a little
You don't know if you're
exciting
gonna have
about
diarrhea
it.
or not.
They're
You
good
just
though.
don't know.
They're good though.
They are.
They're not bad.
They
at
are.
all.
I mean, as far as packaged sandwiches go, I mean, I wouldn't choose it.
Yeah.
If
I
had a
used to
choice,
love
but-
in my loner days, I would just go to some random town, pick a brewery, get fucked up and stay in a Motel 6 or something. That was a fun time.
Well, I have one story that I want to tell about something I observed on Facebook this weekend. Not that it had nothing to do with what Kate said. One of my buddies from high school,
Bad time.
she just got married and she went to a vacation in Mexico for the honeymoon. And I actually DM'd her, I'm like, can I share this on the podcast? And she was like, oh my God, just please don't say my name or give like any like things that show
indicating. Yeah.
She was there for a week. She said the entire time she might have left their room for like 45 minutes because as soon as she got there, she got traveler's diarrhea so bad. Like, can you, and this is a woman who is my age and has never been married before, was a virgin her whole life. Like, because she was that's why I wouldn't.
How do you know this?
Religious person.
Oh,
like she was a very religious person. And she had talked about it like on her wedding day. Like it was so hard, but I saved myself. I'm almost 40 years old, but finally I found my person.
Whoa.
To finally get your person that you want to spread them legs for. And next thing you know, you end up,
chaps. Okay.
You end up in Mexico with fucking diarrhea. That's got to make you reevaluate your entire worldview, right?
That's tough. Because
if you were obedient for 40 years and you did what you thought was required for you from your religion, and then you have diarrhea and you can't even bone, come on.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
That's like when I was in labor and I sneezed and my water broke and I shit myself at the same time. And Pat was just standing there like he was in the fog of war. And I was like, we're probably never going to have sex again.
What do you got for St. Brown's, Kate?
Anyways, gosh, again, over the weekend, just running into stoolies and people who listen to ZBT. There was a few ZBT people at the show, at the Flogging Molly show, which was it's just a delight. It just gets me going. Also, I mean, I would be remiss not like it's me. I have to bring it up, but like there was a big shadow over the weekend. Obviously, the events that happened in Illinois, and it did put like a somber. I feel like it cast a somber shadow over everything, as it should.
Yeah.
7 people have been killed, 3 dozen others wounded. There is now a 2-year-old who lost both of his parents.
Got me, man.
Lost both of his parents. And I like, you can't help but put yourself in the shoes and like how much my son needs us. And to picture what this 2-year-old is wondering where his mom and dad are. Like, I cannot fathom it. The 22-year-old who had to leave her mother there lying on the sidewalk so she could save herself. Her mother was already dead. And like, the gunman fired more than 70 rounds with an AR-15. He legally purchased 2 high-powered rifles and 3 other weapons, despite authorities being called to his home twice since 2019 after he threatened suicide and violence. And knowing this, his father signed off on him getting a firearms card in Illinois. Investigators have not determined a motive, but there are groups online that he was majorly a part of that were amping him up and firing him up, and they were all feeding off each other. And there is celebrations in these group chats now going off what he did. I think every single one of those people should figure out who the fuck they are, and they should never be allowed to own a firearm either. I think there needs to be enormous. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? Once again, like, how can you not say what the problem is? We have a gun problem. Why is that so hard to say? Even if you're a gun person, I don't know. It's just insane. And like, it's just absolutely heartbreaking we just have a lot of reflecting to do. And for me, that casts a big shadow over the entire weekend that I feel like was kind of palpable for everybody. It's hard to celebrate the country I love, when there is so much that is obvious that needs to change, that I feel like I hold America to this standard in my head, and we're not meeting it. What we say we are, we're not meeting that. And that 2-year-old should have a mom and a dad, and it's just fucking like heartbreaking. So
I mean,
feel
the
like that was
justification in, I think it was Philly, where they had the fireworks
2
going
cops
off,
got shot
and you have people screaming and running away while the national anthem and fireworks are going off on the 4th of July. It's just like,
what are we doing? Like, politicians, like, please step up. Like, how many more? But we're a broken record, but like, what the fuck? And then also, I was just thinking about, like, when I was in Afghanistan, thinking like, when you go out on patrol, and every few steps you're thinking, where's my cover and concealment in case shit goes down? Like, you're supposed to always kind of have that in the back of your head. If shit starts going off, where do I go? And thinking that, like, when you get home, you'll never have to think that way again. And now when I take my son places, like when I took him to the Pride Parade, when we're at the mall, I start thinking that way again. I'm like, if shit goes down, how do I hold him? Where do I sit behind? Like, where do I go? And it's like, holy fuck. And that's like, feels like that's not a crazy way to think anymore, which is
it's an
insane.
appropriate way to think. I mean, we had the same shit happen whenever we went to church the weekend after Uvalde happened. And I walked in and sat down in like the normal spot that I usually do. And I noticed how close the pews were to the side of the wall. And there's like a stanchion that would block you from going to the exit door if you were going out the left side, like up against the wall. And I told the Reverend after, I was like, all these pews need to be moved like 2 or 3 feet off the wall. So then if people need to get out, they can get out, and they won't have anything impeding the way that they go. You can't just have one funnel that's funneling everybody out. And it's fucking ridiculous that you have to think about that. Like, that you legitimately have to think about it. Like,
one of my relatives' churches, their church, they know who the concealed carry permit holders are, and they sit in the back of the church in case a shooter comes in. And it's like, we're more willing to accept that than and you can't say we have a gun problem. Like, we have what? Like, what are we doing? I just think people need to like stop bullshitting and figure this the fuck out, like, right now, because this is insane. People should be angry, and people should be saying this needs to change. Anyway, the other thing too, Adam Kinzinger, representative, shared his voicemails over the weekend that he's been getting, and just absolutely, he's a Republican, but I feel like he's one of the few right now speaking out, saying like, hey, things do need to change, blah, blah, blah. Like, and the death threats, it's just death threat after death threat after death threat after death threat, talking about his kids, and people in the comments were like, I've been in the Senate and Congress, blah, blah, blah. Like, it didn't used to be this way. Like, what the fuck is going on? So, I don't know, just kind of a cloud over the weekend. Lovely, beautiful time at the beach, like whatever, but like definitely a big time of reflection, and it's pretty impossible to escape it right now. So, and we shouldn't be able to. It's
I really
crazy.
think illustrates how insane things are. There's a Texas legislator that said over the weekend, after the shooting happened outside of Chicago, and he said that he wants to introduce legislation next year that will ban anyone under the age of 16, I believe, either 16 or 17, from accessing social media. This same guy said that if a 10-year-old girl was raped, that she should carry the child. So you're too immature for social media, but you're mature enough to carry a child to term.
Yeah, these people have to get voted out and change. Yeah, they're just, I just hope people are angry enough to be tired of living in fear and make a change, because it's just like, what the fuck? I hate to be a downer at the end of the show on like our vacation week, but that is like the reality of where we're at right now.
I think a lot of people felt that way. I would say on social media, it's the most anti-American, like positions that I've seen people say, but I'm not even sure if I would classify it as anti-American. I think if you love your country, it's an extremely American thing to say, we are fucked up here, let's get better.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what I was kind of saying at the beginning though, too. Like, why don't we focus on the parts that we want to make better, and want to focus on the parts of this country that are good, and get rid of these bad things, so that we can be this aspirational place that we want to be. And I think that's
in order to do that, you have to have an acknowledgement. And I think for 50% of the country, there's not that acknowledgement.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you should put your head in the sand and just be like, oh, everything's fucking great, because it's not. And I said that, like, we have to acknowledge that things are great, but I think you can also acknowledge that things are really good here too in a lot of ways. Like, they're not great. Clearly, I am not happy about that mass shooting. Like, that's horrible. It seems like every other day there's another mass shooting. But I don't think that because those things are occurring, we just ignore everything else. Like, I think you have to focus on the positives to build those up and to ultimately expel the negatives.
I understand what you're saying. However, the bad are big bad. Like, it's not small, like fearing going out in public events, fearing not being able to be in control of your body autonomy. Those are huge, huge issues that I understand where people are coming from. It is very difficult right now in America to be like, everything is going great and we have all these policies. I mean, really, in the last 10 years, what can we point to that this has been a great thing for America? Like, we've done this great, great thing. Like, in the last 10 years, there hasn't been a lot. Like, in legislation takes away liberty. I think that we have to concentrate on that and be like, let's fucking attack this and stop letting theology affect our politics, like, because it is big time right now.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Anyway, I just just thinking of all those families that are affected and everything, and just hoping for a change. I don't know, whatever. But
and also, I'm sorry, like, to your the story about King Senior's getting those voicemails. How do you think that that's any way to speak to somebody, or that's any way to affect positive change? To have someone that you disagree with, and you think that the way to resolution is to threaten their life, threaten their lives of their wife and children, that doesn't help anybody. I don't understand.
Because the cruelty is the point. I think
the cruelty is the point. Right.
Well,
and
if you're
Nick's
listening
right,
to
it
this
makes
and
them
you
feel
think,
good.
Yeah, I guess if it makes you feel good, and if you're listening to this and you think that that's okay to speak to someone like that, then you.
I don't think anybody that speaks
like
that.
No, I don't think we have. I don't think that's
over the last 2 months. We probably weeded those folks out.
Yeah, I don't think.
Hope not.
Oh, Katie, abortion's over here.
I mean, imagine being the type of person
lost
leaving those and then being like, I'm going to listen to fucking ZBT where they talk about common sense shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're being crazy radical. Like, I don't think you should be able to shoot fucking 150 people in 3 seconds. Like, I don't think that that's too far out of bounds.
No.
Yeah. Kate, very quickly, are you being serious? So Benedict Arnold, do you know he sold the plans, or he was going to sell out West Point?
I've passed his sign up in upstate New York somewhere once where they like caught him with the notes in his pocket, but I didn't know which side he was on. And
I've told that story before. That's why we don't call him Eggs Benedict. We call him Eggs MacArthur.
Whoa. Well, that's cute as a button.
Yeah, right. I figured you'd like that.
Freedom prize.
That was basically it. Just the Benedict Arnold. And I'm sorry. We'd be remiss. Did you guys see that picture of Nancy Pelosi?
Fucking yabos.
I'll see it.
I'm not one to comment on the speakers of House tits, but let's say credit where due.
But I mean, what a spin cycle.
No, let's let Kate speak on this, Con.
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't either.
I'll be honest.
No.
I did not.
No less.
And I mean, I'll say it. Republican tobacco doesn't matter. I wouldn't mind having that body at that age. I don't know if there's been work done or what, because I'm like two wet
82
socks with golf balls.
Looking full.
I mean, those were honkers. I'll say it. It's kind of like when Ben Shapiro posted a picture of his sister. And I don't know. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
How is that the same?
No.
Didn't she have enormous jugs?
Oh, Ben Shapiro's sisters did?
Yeah, buddy, where have you been? Come on. Anybody? Oh, please. Do yourselves a favor. Google it.
I'm just saying Google right now.
I think all time, this is like politics 101. You know, you want to change the news cycle about you and pushing a little girl in a photo op.
Oh, you think this is on purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you go out there wearing what she was wearing. You know, you're the Speaker of the House. Like,
well, maybe now you can say maybe it was her boob swung a little and pushed her arm into.
And I don't think I'm not a prude in any means, but I don't think that her bathing suit was anything scandalous at all.
No,
you just can't hide the girls when the girls are that big,
right? So, and I would say that's it for a lot. I feel like there's a lot of stigma with having enormous honkers. And people think, oh, like you're dumb, you're this, you're that. Whatever side of the fence you're on, if you're out there and you've got an enormous set of honkers and you're like, I can't be a politician. Well, sure you can. Look at
Good
you.
point, Kate.
Thank you.
My save round is there's 4 gentlemen from the Vietnam era who are rightfully upgraded and they got their medals of honor. I appreciate the fact that our government goes back and they correct wrongs. Why in the hell does it take 50 years to do it? I mean, we're talking about actions from the 70s. What are we doing?
I think in the case of upgrading medals, it's probably a case of like, why would you even think about that? Why would I, who's really going back and seeing like, hey, do we get these all right?
But
obviously somebody did. So that
entire departments for that though. Like there's entire units that are dedicated to those types of things.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's crazy, man. Like doing that shit. I don't get it. I don't get why it takes 50 years to get people what they deserve. It makes no sense at all. And then they don't even get to, you do something so unbelievably heroic, and every single person that has received the Medal of Honor would say it's not about my recognition or anything like that. But it would be nice, right? Like if you do something that deserves that level of recognition, to get it while you're young and you're alive. Think about those 4 people, how different their lives would have been since the 1970s as Medal of Honor recipients. Like it's drastically changes their lives.
Yep.
Unreal. All right. We'll be back with a normal schedule back again here next week. We hope that if you're at work and you're doing your thing, we appreciate you. Thanks for listening to us. If you're from a different podcast that you normally listen to and you decided to check us out, thank you. And all those people who have been saying that they started listening and they don't like cons, that was ugly. Wasn't it, cons? That tweet?
It wasn't nearly as ugly as the people who have said, I just started watching on YouTube and gosh, chaps is ugly.
No one said that. I monitor all the comments and no one said
they
that.
sent me the DMs.
Integrity
and
violator.
I was man enough not to send them to you.
Post them. Integrity violator cons. Unreal. We'll be back again next week. It's on the retreat.